Welcome to 6 for 60, the show where I tell you 6 things that I love about Star Trek in honor of the 60th anniversary of the franchise. This is episode 11, and today I would love to talk for a hot second about the transporter. If you watched episode 10, I talked about technology, but the transporter really needed a whole episode all by itself. So I'm not really going to talk about the science behind creating a transporter, possibly us developing that technology one day. That is far beyond my capabilities. I really just have 6 questions about the transporter. So, if you're familiar with the entire franchise and some of the books, basically the history is it started out for only non-living items. So if you watch Enterprise, the folks are really, concerned about using the transporter because it's really only been used for supplies and materials. But eventually they get over their issues. And everyone knows about Bones, Dr. Leonard McCoy's long-standing distrust of the transporter. He doesn't like the idea of having his atoms scrambled and beamed across the universe. So it's, really interesting. And so we're familiar in general with the idea of the transporter. And related to the transporter, but not quite, is the instant travel that's really referred to by the Iconians, and we see them referenced in TNG, Contagion, and DS9 to the death. But really not talking about the Iconian device today. Just talking about standard Federation transporters. So, okay, so my first question today is original or copy? Does the transporter really break down your original self and beam it to your destination? Or does it just take your pattern and then create a copy? I don't know. It's widely debated, especially in some of the books. Again, I have to go back and find the exact books that really went into depth about it. But to me, that's a valid question. How do I know that what arrives at the destination point is really me versus just a copy of me? So the other side of the coin of that question is my second question. Is it a death and then a resurrection? Because if it has disassembled my component parts, did it take that matter that it converted into energy and literally move it someplace else and then put me back together? Or did it take my matter, turn it into energy, and then use some other matter on the other side just to reconstitute me? Big questions. And why 1 and 2 are such big questions is because of question number 3. How does it separate my mind, my body, and my soul? So if you believe in souls, some people don't believe in souls, but if you happen to believe in souls, how in the world is it moving my soul someplace else? Which goes back to the, questions number 1 and 2. Am I really me when I get to my destination? So this was really they didn't address it, but for me, it really comes into play in DS9, Season 4, Episode 9, Our Man Bashir. And also in TOS, The Voyage Home, where the cetacean specialist jumps into Kirk's arms and they're beamed onto the ship and they're still somehow separate. And we see that a lot in other episodes when somebody is wounded on an away mission and they're carrying the person back, on the ship. How does the transporter know where I stop and somebody else begins? So how does it? Is there, because in the episode My Man Bashir, DS9 episode, there was a transporter, not a transporter, there was a shuttle accident. Well, there was sabotage. They blew up the shuttle, but they managed to beam the folks off of the shuttle. But something happened, I guess, due to the explosion and all, and they were holding the people in a pattern buffer, but apparently because it's so much information, it can't keep it indefinitely. And so what the computer did was that it purged a lot of other stuff. It kept their physical patterns in one place and their, I guess, mental, if you want to call it, their spirit, their intellect in another place. So their bodies showed up physically in Bashir's holodeck program. And I guess their minds were somewhere else. So clearly, if the computer can separate the two, how does it know? How did it know to do that? How could it do that? And yes, I'm well aware of, the willing suspension of disbelief. And some things we're just supposed to not think about while we're enjoying our shows. But it did make me think. How did the computer know to separate their intellect, their mind, from their physical bodies, and then be able to integrate the two back together? So my fourth question is, why don't they use it in the future to create replacement parts? So think about it. They could have just given Nog his leg back. If we had the pattern, it's somewhere, we could give Nog his leg back. Question number 5, related to number 4, why don't they just use it to cure all illnesses? So in TNG, season 2, episode 7, Unnatural Selection, they use the Pulaski's transporter pattern to cure her of this illness she had contracted when she went to another a planet. So, or it was a space station. The point is, she was contaminated. They used her transporter pattern to cure her. So again, if we can do these things with the transporter, why don't we? And I know, plot armor. But my 6th and final question for 6 for 60, doing questions this week, is why don't they use it to live forever? So in TNG season 6, episode 7, Rascals, Rolaren and Guinan and Picard, and I think somebody else, they all get turned into young people, but they have their current memories. Their minds are intact. Only their bodies have somehow been reversed to a youthful age. So at the end of the episode, they find a way to reverse it, the effect, and their return to their adult selves. But once we figured out how to do that, we could just keep doing that forever and ever. You're keeping your current mental faculties. We could just get our youthful bodies back. Wouldn't it be amazing? Although I love me right now, but wouldn't I love me in my 16-year-old body without achy knees? That would be amazing. So those were my 6 questions this week for Star Trek. Um, I have included a link in the comments, or will include a link in the comments about transporters, about some conversation about where some scientists speculate on our ability to really create this transporter technology, which we would need if we were ever going to have true Star Trek like holodecks um, in the future. So, but it was fun. Let me know in the comments what you think about the transporter technology. If you've ever had some of these questions that I had, and just let me know your thoughts. Live long and prosper.